Why is every day in the life video so bloody perfect? I swear that every time I see one of these day in the lives, they all just happen to be doing the most glamorous things, going to really cool places of big brands, looking absolutely perfect the moment they wake up in the morning, and just everything seems to go really well. There doesn't seem to be any sort of mishaps, boring moments, or anything in a day in the life of an entrepreneur. And it's just so unrealistic. Now, I feel like I have a very busy life and there's always something going on. But at the same time, there's still down points, there's still days, which I deliberately make sure that not as much happens. And so a genuine day in the life is gonna be different every single day, which is why I've decided to change my lessons of the week videos that I've been doing every single week to more like a week in the life, where I genuinely show you what I do every single day, every single week as I build my business. Because to me, those day in the lives or week in the life videos that are just so perfect do not show the ups and downs and genuine mismatch of variety of things that we do as an entrepreneur. So who are they genuinely helpful to? So I've decided to do basically like how people say you should be building in public. I am doing that with my week in the life videos every single week. So this is my first one. This is actually everything I did every single day this week. Well, not everything I did, because you don't need to know all that, but I am breaking it down day by day, how I spent my week, and this is what a typical week in my life looks like. So funny enough, I considered this week a quiet week. Well, at least that's what I anticipated it would be, because the previous week was half term here in the UK. And what that means is that all the kids are off school. And so it's a little bit of a different type of week. But because I also teach chess in schools, my schedule is a little bit random. And so last week I actually ran a chess camp for kids throughout the week, which meant that I was teaching chess every single day for 6 hours. And, you know, not only was I there with a classroom full of kids and absorbing that energy and making sure I was there for them, but I also had to prepare for that and then still run my business on top of that. So for me, last week was insanely busy because it was just like having 2 jobs I was doing on top of it. It's like doing a full-time job and still running my business. So this week for me was a little bit quieter, but realistically it wasn't quiet at all. And unfortunately, Monday for me started off as a completely rough day. I'd spent the entire night puking up my gut, had the norovirus, and just felt like death. And so low Monday was me lying in bed trying to drink a lot of fluids and recover from it. We do not need any footage of that, because who wants to see that? But sometimes when you're running a business, this stuff happens, you get ill, and you obviously try to avoid those situations. And you don't then want to be like, oh my God, I need to work through when I'm sick because I'm so busy. Luckily enough, I was able to handle myself and then pick myself up, and towards the latter half of the day, I was feeling well enough to just answer a few emails, sort things out, because next Monday, on the 3rd of March, I had a big LinkedIn event that I am preparing for. So I want to make sure that that goes really, really well. So everything was to do with that. So Monday for me, generally, I try to keep free from meetings as much as I can so I can be really productive. So this Monday, I had 2 calls with 2 amazing female founders, and all we did was shoot the breeze about what life is like as a female founder, being by yourself, solopreneurship. And I just really value those calls because every single person I speak to has similar struggles, and knowing that you're not alone is just amazing. So for me, that sort of thing was great. So I did 2 of those, recovered from my illness, and prepared for my LinkedIn event. And that was how my Monday went. So Tuesday, I was feeling so much better, so I decided to take my dog to Victoria Park for a big old run around. She is the fluffiest chow chow in the world, and I love her so much. And she's just like the biggest ball of energy. Every time I'm spending time with her, I just feel so happy and positive. So she's an absolute great way to start the day, and just let her run around, meet other dogs, and such a vibe. And Victoria Park is an absolute stunning thing, a stunning place to be. So I feel like walking in that scenery just really sparks my creativity. And after a day of being like, you know, in your bed, feeling a bit rough, it's a really great contrast to it. So I take my dog to the park every so often for a bit of creativity and just feel good vibes. And so then I spent the day making sure the logistics were done for the event. So that means all the little things that maybe don't seem as important, but for example, making sure the cupcakes are ordered. So I've got some really cute like LinkedIn and Knobs logo cupcakes, and making sure the logistics were done, mics, AV, all that sort of stuff. Checking in with people, making sure they got the emails and the invites and all the details so they get lost in spam, all that little stuff. So logistics of that were done, which is great. Then I headed over to 10 Trinity Square, which is my favourite private members club in London, hands down the best one I've ever been a member of. And it's where I do most of my meetings. And so I had a meeting there, well, I sat there for a bit to do some co-working because I like to go somewhere different a little bit, change the scenery, and it sparks a bit more creativity. But I went to meet someone I just met randomly off LinkedIn, and this girl dropped into my DM, said she loves my content, and she seemed like a really good vibe, so I was like, let's meet over a coffee. And I love to do that, no expectations, didn't look up anything about her, and we got on super duper well. And I just think that when you create content that you know is exactly for your target audience, the right people start to find you. And when I was creating a bit more generic stuff before, I feel like the audience is such a mix match, and now I think my content has gotten a little bit more honed in, and it's probably a little bit more no bullshit, a little bit more edgy. I think it's actually alienated a few people absolutely fine and found the right people. So I loved the fact that she reached out and wanted to just meet up. And I love, again, just taking a chance and just meeting new people. And we had the best conversation and so many possibilities up in the air for collaboration. Really excited about what this one would lead to, and hopefully in a few weeks you'll probably see an update about it. So it's amazing. And on that front, I then stay behind to have supper club at 10 Trinity Square, where they throw amazing, luxurious dinners for their members so that the members can meet each other. And again, just incredible conversations with people I just didn't know, have all different backgrounds. Food is so lush.
How good this is.
Every single time I go there, I've never had anything that wasn't just ultimately so delicious. And then free-flowing wine, they just don't stop topping up your glass. It's insane. So I had to curb myself because I knew I had to get up early in the morning. But just the most amazing night. I just loved, like, again, that variety of having time in the day, quiet logistical stuff, in the park, my dog, meeting member one-on-one, and then a dinner, which is like meeting one-to-many. Great variety of the day. That's a sort of typical day that I'd have in my life. So my Wednesday was a bit of a tough one because I started off the day normally. We've got a couple of new juniors starting, so I was making sure that they were all settled in and, you know, met up with them and just tried to make sure that they were happy and they knew what they were doing for the week. It's really difficult when I guess you're trying to onboard new people, especially when we're kind of a flexible working, and so it's a hybrid model. And so I just wanted to make sure that was all done. And then I was super excited about all our new events that we've got with Knobs coming up. So I took to LinkedIn and announced some amazing speakers that we've got coming up or potentially coming up, the likes of like Jamila Jamil or Mel Robbins and, you know, Daniel Priestley and Verity Bowditch. We've got like loads of really cool names coming up. And unfortunately, someone went onto my post and said that the lineup was not diverse enough. And even though it's not a lineup for one event, it's different events and there's going to be other collaborators, they criticised me for not having enough diversity in my speakers, which I challenged, and I'll talk more about that in the bullshit of the week. But then somehow that got spiralled into a whole week of nastiness, which I'll come to in a minute. And so Wednesday sort of derailed my week and was a bit tough. But, you know, I teach on Wednesday, so I went to do my school, had like 3 hours of chess coaching, school then private. So after the chess coaching, I got to go to this really cool event run by a lady called Olivia May Conlon, and she basically started a community called Girls in Marketing, and it's phenomenal. She's an incredible woman. She Forbes 30 under 30. She started this community to basically help out women and girls who are starting off into the marketing world, who don't want to feel alone, who want to support each other. And she's just got this really great community of young girls, and I've had the privilege to do a masterclass for her. So I got invited to this exclusive evening, which was like top 25 marketers to watch in 2025. Just lovely bubbles and cupcakes and just good vibes. So love being around that sort of people. Got to meet someone in real life as well who I've been talking with on LinkedIn for a long time. We resonate with each other's content, and again, it's that sort of thing. If you have a really strong voice, you kind of connect with each other. Got to meet in real life, and we went for a few cocktails, chatted a lot. Really no bullshit conversation, just an amazing way to connect. And so such a long day, but totally worth it when you're just meeting these great people. And I just went to bed feeling a little bit more secure and happier, knowing that other people have my back when there's lots of negativity out there. So an amazing time. So Thursday was an interesting day again. It was one of these days where I had a lot on. Thursday morning was back-to-back meetings on Zoom before having to go to, getting to go to the launch of the new LinkedIn Experience Centre in London. So in-person event, lots of LinkedIn influencers, that's what it was called, however you want to define them, were there, really cool. I would say the creators, but you know, that's what they were called, LinkedIn influencers, just to see this new amazing centre, which is now going to be open to the public, and you can go in, there's a conference room, photo booths, just really cool stuff. Got to see a bunch of people I really admire, network, get a load of merch, which I love, pictures in front of the LinkedIn sign, classic. So just a kind of fun event, which again is not the sort of normal thing that you get to do every single day. So that was a cool perk of being a LinkedIn creator. And then I did my 3 hours of chess, and I think I was pretty shattered at that point after the last few days. And so I decided I wanted an evening for myself. And usually I like to come back after chess coaching and just kind of do a bit of work. But today I decided to just veg out in front of the TV, get loads of chocolate, Terry's chocolate orange, classic, and you know, watch some trashy TV and just conk out. And actually it was so nice. And I think that lots of people say you should never work in the evenings, but actually I like to spend my days differently. And because I'm talking to people in the day, I like to have some quiet time when everyone else is clocked off, fewer emails coming through, and I like to focus. But today, no, full rejuvenation evening, and that was how I felt. Friday, it's like funny because most people feel like they should wind down on a Friday, and I usually do, but I always get up earliest on a Friday, so I got up very early. I say it's very early. For me, it's very early. 6:30 is very early for me. I'm a 7 o'clock post 7 riser, so 6:30 is the time I get up on a Friday. So I got up at 6:30 and took my dog for a really early walk, had loads of meetings in the morning, caught up with the work that I was supposed to do the previous day, and then decided that actually I wanted the afternoon off. So I just blocked out the afternoon, cancelled the meetings that weren't urgent and pushed them back to Monday. Had my lunchtime meeting, which was a great conversation at 10 Trinity Square again about all the future events that we're going to do. So it's really cool. Lined up the diary full of amazing events that we're going to do with 10 Trinity Square at the Four Seasons. So that's really exciting. Wanted to end that on a high. Checked myself into the spa and had the afternoon in the spa, which was so lovely. And so I had the best time just to relax, read a book about dogs solving crime, you know, go in the sauna, steam room, and actually I was like, why don't I do this more often? It made me feel incredible, because I also knew that I had a big weekend ahead of me. Unfortunately, I had to go to a funeral of someone very close to me on the Saturday, which was really tough and emotionally draining. And then on a juxtaposition, today on Sunday, I have been shopping for wedding dresses, so that's been so beautiful and so fun, and got to have just a happy day about my future, which is lovely. But you know, it made me feel so shattered having to do so many things every single day, especially starting the week quite unwell. So I feel like it's been a full-on week, and it's funny because I was thinking this is my quiet week, and I guess what that's made me learn is that I don't think there's any quiet weeks when you're running businesses, and especially for someone like me who's running an established business as an agency and then running a big startup with this Entrepreneurship club, and you know, I'm doing also chess coaching on top of it. I'm always going to be busy, so I'm never going to have a quiet week. So I think it's really important to schedule in those quiet moments, like my spa thing, and actually I really needed that. And I think that maybe one of the reasons I got ill was because I wasn't taking care of myself and slowing down, and something I talk about is a healthy hustle, and I wasn't really taking my own advice. And I've noticed this week, I haven't been taking my own advice. So it's something I've been trying to work on. You easily get just swept up and distracted. So I think that sometimes you know what you should be doing and you don't actually do it yourself, but that's what I'm gonna do. But that's a typical week, and you can see it's very busy. So, and you can understand why I have to be so productive, because I also then had spent the week planning my launch for tomorrow and my LinkedIn event for tomorrow and our TEDx event that's coming up, and all that is already been planned, and I somehow managed to fit all of that in between everything else as well as doing agency work and my other strategy day work for the clients too. So there's always time for all of that sort of stuff, and so if you're really productive and efficient and organised, you can make this happen. So this week's bullshit of the week has been an interesting one, because I've put my own post up at bullshit of the week. Now, I'm not calling myself bullshit because I stand by every word that I wrote, but I am indeed calling the reactions to my post bullshit. Now, unfortunately, I had a lot of negativity this week, and it's been actually really, really difficult to deal with and emotionally draining. And do you know what? It's been super sweet seeing how many people have been checking in with me to see if I'm okay, because a lot of the negativity was actually public. But what sparked it off, what I mentioned earlier, was the diversity piece around the speakers. So the next day, because I was in that conversation with the lady, and she said that I should pick a black speaker regardless of whether they fit into any criteria just because they're black, which I don't agree with. And I said that I hate tokenism, and I've been sick and tired of people accusing me of being selected because I'm black and a woman and it's like a diversity hire. And I said that's why I hate DEI, because DEI programs are done terribly for that reason, and so many people think it's a tick box exercise and think that it's, you know, they are only being selected because of their gender, their race, their disability and all that sort of stuff. But I want people to realise who they are as people and their skills first, and then appreciate that they're in a marginalised group afterwards. It shouldn't be the priority. And I took to LinkedIn to explain my stance on that, and unfortunately I got a lot of bullshit comments. Now, I appreciate that in America there's a lot of stuff going on. It was probably very ill-timed on my part, which I didn't consider, and obviously I hold my hands up to that, and the fact that with Trump scrapping DEI programs and the fact that it's Black History Month in America, it's not in the UK, and this is why I think I forgot, because ours is in October. It probably was ill-timed saying that, you know, as a black woman, I disagree with the DEI and how it's been done. I believe in true diversity, true inclusion and true equity, obviously, and I was saying that that's how I felt. Naturally, on emotional topics like this, people do react really badly and don't see things on other sides of the spectrum. And you know, obviously I'm not going to say that people shouldn't be hired from marginalised groups. I'm saying they should be hired because they're good at what they do. And they're saying that all of them are good at what they do. And that may be the case, but that's not what other people think. There are constantly people complaining that they're only getting selected and they're getting jobs over other people who are more qualified. And I think that if it was done properly in the first place and people were educated about what true diversity is, i.e. diversity of thought, and it's not about demographics, then I think people would actually be on board with more diverse workforces. I think it sucks that Trump has decided to take an axe to DEI programs instead of actually educating people on what it is, and any company who's now gone back to previous hiring and don't care about it, then they're probably not the right companies to work with, because I think that any company I know is still continuing their diversity workforce. Any good company I know, they're still doing the same thing. It hasn't affected them. Just because they're not legally required to do it, they're still doing it. What it's made me realise this week is that on social, there's a lot of shouting. There's a lot of people wanting to hear only their own opinion and find posts that agree with what they have to say, and they just want to bully people. And actually a lot of the stuff I got was really vitriolic and really personal and really attacking. The DMs were awful, and I had to block a few people because it was so nasty. What I realised is that people really identify with a certain label and gets very attached to it, and if you say anything against or controversial or anything that's not in the normal opinion, then it's almost like you're attacking who they are as opposed to the idea and trying to enact change. And I think that, you know, if we did implement and improve diversity programs so that everyone got equal opportunities and that we were able to, you know, like see people as equal and actually everyone gets the same standard opportunities, and then you pick the best person, and I think that would be then fantastic. It's not quite how it works at the moment. I believe that everyone would want that sort of stuff, but I think that I realise that on social it's kind of about shouting at each other and just kind of get your own point across and not listen to other people's. And it's made me realise how important having difficult conversations are. So many people have said to me how they've found the conversations super stimulating and useful and actually helps them think outside the box and learn from other people. And I think that this is what's essential. Like, part of me is wanting to quit LinkedIn, quit posting and just avoid it all. It's the easy way, right? You don't have to have these conversations, but I think that every single one of these conversations helps you learn more about other cultures, other demographics, and just grow as a person. And I think that's important for every single person. But I just think that you have to have the mindset to be able to do that, and it's not that easy. So I will continue to do this, and I will continue to show up for other people, because as difficult as it has been, I've been thinking about it all week, and I think that it's absolutely essential to have conversations like this, because without them you won't understand it from other people's perspectives, and that's obviously the purpose of diversity, right? So I will continue to show up, and I will continue to encourage open, candid conversations. But I think what absolutely needs to happen is that you need to be able to respect everyone, because there's absolutely no reason to show up with such vitriol and such personal attacks to people. There were plenty of people in my comments showing up with really highly educational, inspirational points and, you know, with utmost respect. I think that they were doing it so diplomatically and just from a point of education, which is the point of it. Like, I learned so much from those people, so I absolutely love it. And they're the ones that I want to have conversations with. I think that if you don't know how to respect other people, then how are you supposed to expect respect in return? So for me, I want to continue to have these conversations, but I also want to highlight that actually you need to be able to have respect for every single person, regardless of how your views differ. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little bit of a different video. This is now like kind of week in the life, more realistic, to show you exactly how I spend my week, the highs and the lows, very much building in public, so you can see the good things I've done, the bad things I've done, and how I've managed to fit in all the day-to-day normal stuff of my week in between everything. And yeah, like hopefully you enjoy this new format, and then I will be able to do this every single week and show you how different each of my weeks are. But hopefully see you guys next week.